the thing is, I do believe there was talk about these things. I believe if we study history, the Confederates were able to shoot pterodactyls, back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online.
Google it
They
yourself.
spread these things out, and this is a historical fact. So, they spread this thing out, and it's got a huge winglet. It was a pterodactyl they shot. So, of course, these things have been around. Now, they went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so...
What I'm saying is Jesus wrote a dinosaur to work. That's history. It's in the Bible. How to Train Your Dragon.
Historical facts.
And if you don't believe it, do your own research. Pull up Google. You'll find the picture, I promise.
Oh my God.
Thank you, John Gleason, Godless engineer, for gifting me this beautiful moment. Y'all remember when they tried to cancel Steven Spielberg for posing with an animatronic triceratops animal rights activist? Hit it from the back.
Cloaca. Historical facts.
Eat my ass, BP. You're down here bailing on the rest of us because you don't want to process your grief and shame like a normal person by drinking and mistreating strangers.
No, Rick. It is you who must nibble my cloaca, or bird asshole.
Everyone knows what a cloaca is.
back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online. They spread these things out, and this is a historical fact. So, they spread this thing out. This has got a huge winglet. It's a pterodactyl they shot. So, of course, these things have been around. Now, they went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so...
Paul Bunyan was sharing some Funyuns with his pet velociraptor.
Whoa.
Oh, you thought it was an ox? Roll back the clock. Let me knock the socks off. Historical facts.
I didn't cut out. You heard me. Are you a pervert or something? Okay.
What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? I'm the Godless Engineer, and I critically analyze Apologist claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice. Tonight, we're going to be taking a look at a Muslim apologist who claims that Allah is the one true God, and that's proven scientifically by the Quran. So we're going to be diving into a bunch of claims about the Quran tonight, scientific claims about the Quran specifically. We got Jason Kolasik with a super chat saying, well,
hey, ain't nobody going to be fighting over this $5. It's all mine.
That's fucking right. It's all his. Well, you certainly found a novel way to avoid the low bar apologist, but Allah? Hey, you know what? The last 2 weeks I didn't put William Lane Craig up on the poll, and so you guys didn't get a chance to vote for him, but I'm sure that y'all would stumble into that trap no matter what. But anyways, tonight we're going to be going over a Muslim apologist claiming that Allah is the one true God. And so we're going to have a number of scientific claims that we need to go over, and also some contradictions with what this Muslim apologist is saying, because what he says the Quran says is not exactly accurate. So if you want to fuck around and find out exactly how bad this Muslim apologist is at arguing for Allah, then please stay tuned. All right. So, in case you're new to the stream tonight, if you don't know, we usually pick a charity every month, and I'm not sure what charity we're going with this month. Oh, do we? It's do it at the very beginning of December. Right. That's right. So what we're doing this month is something we've done for the past few years, and that's donate to the Kids to Love Christmas. Kids to Love is a local organization that do they don't just simply work with orphans. That makes them sound like
provide supplies to foster kids, help them find homes. They provide even in some cases housing.
Right. They help foster kids. They provide homes for them. They, provide Christmas gifts and everything like that for them. School supplies. They do a lot of great stuff for foster kids in North Alabama. So we want to help give them a pretty good Christmas. So we are going to be donating some money to them. So if you want to help make some foster kids Christmas good this year, then consider doing a super chat, becoming a Skeptic Mafia member, or just simply watching and sharing our videos. That always helps as well. So just know a portion of the revenue goes to that. Tonight we've got a full show. We've got Shitty Ass Science. We've got some comments. We've got Today I Learned. And we've got the video to review. So I guess, let's just go on ahead and dive right on into it before all of the super chats start coming in, which normally ends up happening at some point. If you're wondering what I'm drinking tonight I am drinking crack and cream soda.
We got a new member.
Fuck yeah, Drew. Welcome back to the Skeptic Mafia there, bro. Sorry, my back is kind of like my screen's a little weird. All right. Oh, we got Darren Wright. It says, great charity. Definitely want my heathen atheist money going to those kids. Peace and love, y'all. Thank you so much, Darren. I mean, here at Godless Engineer, we truly want to be one of the shittiest channels here on YouTube, okay?
Ain't nobody going to be fighting over this $5. It's all mine.
Shannon also did.
Maybe you should quit drinking all that beer, G.E.
Shannon said, for the kiddos, thanks for always doing so much for charity, you two. Love you both. Thank you so much there, Shannon. I appreciate you too.
Love you too.
I hope that you heard that. I think that you probably did. But in any case, let's get right on into the Today I Learns, huh? What?
Hey, ain't nobody gonna be fighting over this $5. It's all mine.
Cadence says, I hate kids. Thank you so much, Cadence, for helping the kids out. Elizabeth Richardson says some shitty money to help shitty kitties, or just kids.
You are
kids aren't
blessed
shitty.
by Christ, ma'am. Or sir. You are blessed.
Elizabeth got blessed by Brocephus. Some shitty money to help the shitty kitties, or just kids. Kids aren't shitty. I just don't want any of them. That's fair. Don't have kids if you don't want them. That's what people say. Was reasonable people do. Anyways, y'all ready for Today I Learned? Today I learned. Was I flat? Just like my ass. Nah, I've got a fat ass. Anyways, first up on Today I Learned, I don't know if you know this there, hun. Did you know that kids at one time were allowed to fucking fly?
What was allowed to fly?
Kids.
Like planes?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know.
By themselves. Today I learned that in 1996, we got a super chat coming in. Kalasia 789.
Here comes the gravy train.
Kalasia 789 says, for the children. Thanks. Thank you, Kalasia. I appreciate you. Today I learned in 1996, a 7-year-old Californian girl tried to fly an airplane across the U.S. and crashed in a thunderstorm, killing her. This resulted in a law banning children from flying.
You are blessed by Christ, ma'am. Or sir. You are blessed.
So like my here's my
Hey, ain't nobody gonna be fighting over this $5. It's all mine.
So okay, here's my question. Why why was she flying in the first place? Syrian in the chat there, which maybe I should put it up, said she was flying with a flight instructor, and that may be the case. But, I mean, I don't see a need as to why she was, like, learning how to fly a plane in the first place. Like, we don't allow kids to drive until they're at least 16. All right, I feel like that's reasonable. But for a 7-year-old to be taught how to fly, or to be able to be taught how to fly, I don't know. I feel like maybe no, it should have been initial, like that should have been the initial law. But anyways, yeah. So they banned children from flying planes after this, and so I think that was probably a good idea. Oh man. All right. Next up on Today I Learned that attractive female students no longer earned higher grades when classes moved online during COVID-19. I mean, again, I feel like take this, with as seriousness as you will, but I mean, that sucks for those girls that didn't get higher grades, but I don't know why that would have been. I mean, horny old professors, is that what it is? I mean, I don't know, maybe, but what I do recall is that in engineering school, like when I went to college for engineering, I definitely did see one college girl walking around with those, those pants that had holes in them, but there was like a hole right on her ass. But my point, it's not that I was like staring at her, like lingering and being all weird and stuff. I saw it and I'm like, that's got to be breezy. And why did she wear this pair of pants that had a hole in the ass to school? Like, I don't know. I was thoroughly confused and like thrown off by somebody with those kind of pants in school. And but anyways, so yeah, there's that. Attractive female students no longer got high grades. Who would have known? This next one, moving on from the uncomfortable sexual one that we were just talking about. This one's very topical to my channel. So today I learned that apparently blacking out from alcohol doesn't cause you to lose memories, which, to be fair, I've never blacked out from alcohol, but rather your brain temporarily loses the ability to create new memories during the blackout. So the memories never technically existed. So, there you go. Like it's not that you lose memories. It's just that you never form them. Anyways. All right. Well, that's going to be it for all the Today I Learned today. And, so now we're going to move on into the comments. And while everybody is in the chat, it's going like, right, GE, yeah, you weren't staring at her ass. All right. Y'all ready for some comments of the day? Comments of the day. Prepare to facepalm yourself into next week. All right. So, what do we got first up on the comments today? Oh, shit. Oh, first up is Matt Walsh. Apparently. Let's get the correct background here for comments. There we go. Conspiracy theory wall there. I'm catching some heat because I said that anime is satanic. I just want to clarify that yes, it will literally lead to demonic possession in upwards of 87% of cases, studies show. I want to know what fucking studies is he like reading? Like what studies are being done where they can verify demonic possession? I mean, this has got to be from some kind of like, you know, like evangelical college or seminary or something like that. Like that's the only place that would publish this kind of shit. Can you just imagine? It's like, well, during our studies, we've actually found that people that love anime, they actually get demon possessed. Yet we've been able to catalog this. When this fella right here watches this particular anime, he starts chanting and sacrificing chickens while fucking their throats. So, you know, that's definitely demonic possession right there. Like, I feel like a lot of the data concerned with...
Gobble, motherfucker!
I feel like a lot of the data concerned with any of these studies that could have been going on were probably just pulled out of somebody's ass. And is just like, oh yes, this right here is definitely demonic possession. And it's like, the guy was having a seizure and you didn't help him. Well, he was demon possessed. That was no seizure. I could tell a seizure from demonic possession. He was definitely demonically possessed. Oh, well, how did you deduce that? Well, he was watching One Punch Man right before he had the seizure. So obviously, it wasn't all the flashing lights on the show. It was a demon that was entering his bunghole. We got Jason Kolasik that says, really? You got proof of demons? Sorry, I didn't mean for that to come across any kind of way. I imagined somebody reading the study and like before it gets like printed in whatever kind of seminary like journal they got going, and it's like, really? You found demons? This is awesome. And you know, he just sort of prints it in the thing. But anyways, thank you so much there, Jason Kolasik. Anyway, Matt Walsh is a dipshit to be, you know, I mean, honest. I mean, he really is a dipshit. Speaking of dipshits, next up is Tim Allen. And I do believe this, I screen capped this before people were able to buy the verified check mark. Drew's book review says, my daughter must be demonically possessed then.
Just a little bit of money.
Sorry, Drew, is that because of like she's susceptible to seizures, or is that because she likes anime? In this particular context, I'm not exactly sure. In any case, if it's the seizures, I hate that she's got to deal with that. Next up is she's crazy about anime. Woo! Good. I'm glad that I don't want anybody to have to deal with seizures. So I'm glad that she's sorry, I know people can't see what she is crazy about anime. See, you can see it right there. Yeah, definitely crazy about anime. That's good. Anyways, next up is Tim Allen. What's going on, huh?
This is not one of those good
Oh.
screen protectors that doesn't get bubbles. It's horrible.
I fucking hate screen protectors that don't get bubbles. That do get bubbles, sorry. All right, so Tim Allen says, who is the face of woke? Do wokies have a clubhouse in someone's backyard, or maybe a cute yet safe playpen somewhere?
Here comes the gravy train.
Cadence. Let's see. Cadence says, as your resident demonic or demoness, sorry, we're resident demoness, I can say that we don't possess anyone. We believe in consent and bodily autonomy. Woo! Can you imagine demons being more respectful than fucking Republicans? I mean, I can. That's actually very believable. Awesome to hear the official word from the demon realm there, Cadence. Thank you so much for that. But anyways, so Tim Allen wants to know if there's a cute yet safe playpen somewhere for wokies. Now, we've got shirts in the store for wokies. Okay. Maybe I mentioned this last week on the stream. I'm not sure. I just like bringing up Tim Allen. Now, Olivia Williams, it probably follows that Sir has pointed out with the studies thing. It's anti-vax rhetoric. Oh, is it? I'm not surprised that Sir's covered it on his, and I'm sure he did a much thorough look into the whole study thing than I did, pulling a response out of my ass here. But that wouldn't surprise me at all. Like, anti-vax rhetoric is getting varied now, so it makes sense. But anyways, so wokies. Are you a wokie? I'm a wokie. Wokey. My hold on, I got a wokie pullover. Wait. So, have you ever been outside and been cold as shit and wanted to pull over, but also wanted to let all your neighbors know that you're liberal as shit and that you'll go at them if they try to fuck with you? Well, go and get your Wokey pullover today at store.godlessengineering.com. Never mind any of the shit that's on it. Be a certified Wokey today. And that's my plug for the shirt. Oh, wrong thing. Okay, let's move on from Tim Allen. Up next is everybody's favorite apologist, Frank Turek, who says people need to see Christianity, not just hear about it. You know, I feel like this might be one of those self-burns that you're always hearing people talk about. Because, like, yes, we would totally love to see some shit about fucking Christianity. Like, actually see some evidence for Christianity, not just hear about it from people like Frank Turek. We need to see it. But the problem is that you don't got it there, Frank Turek. You just don't. People can't see Christianity. I mean, they can see people who are Christians doing good things, but considering that the Old Testament of the Bible has God commanding his chosen people to kill small babies, children, and women for literally no reason at all other than they're part of some society that he hates, I feel like if you were to see Christianity, it might be a bit bloodier. You know, like the conquistadors and shit. Because I think that's in one of the passages in the Bible. Thou shalt go to new lands and spread diseases, rape women, kill children, and love everybody. That's what it says in the Bible. You can quote Josephus on it. Oh, this one's from... Hey, honey, do you know about the biblicalgenderroles.com? No? Well, it's a blog where they post some of the most misogynistic shit from the Bible as if this is how... It's basically the Gilead blog posts. All right? And so this person, whoever made this is just great. It is not a woman's consent that matters. It is God's. Yeah. It's God's consent that matters. Nobody's consent matters other than God's. Woo, this is some toxic shit right here. This is also the fantastic place where they think that marital rape doesn't happen, which is bullshit. So, somebody ought to try marital rape with you. I mean, that's definitely not me, honey.
Not marital rape. Just
Oh. Yeah, well, you know what God consented to in the Old Testament? That's sexual slavery. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he consents to it in the New Testament too. But, you know, just saying, like, I don't think this is going to go very far when you start denying people's bodily autonomy and revoking consent before you allow them to try to have it. All right, next up is going to be some TikTok comments. I don't know if you guys know, I'm over there on TikTok at Godless Engineer. And also here on YouTube, because YouTube's trying to be more like TikTok and shit, you can actually just type in at Godless Engineer, like youtube.com/at Godless Engineer. or type into the search bar at Godless Engineer, and I'll come right the fuck up, because that's how handles work, and YouTube copies everybody else. But anyways, this is Quantum Quirk, and he's not the brightest, crayon in the box. That's the one I was hoping not to do a Bushism, but anyways, they're saying, did you ever lie, steal, lust after someone? If so, you are a sinner. You will never be perfect, not without God's help. Okay. So sin, I want to cover this real quick. Sin is a concept that is pretty specific to religion. It is just basically transgressing God's opinion about things. God has a certain opinion, and he wants you to adhere to that opinion. If you don't adhere to that opinion, then you're sinning. So a lot of people think that sin and morality, or like sin and bad or evil things, are synonymous, and that's not true, because there's a lot of things that are considered sin that are perfectly fine in reality, and then there are some things that are good or not sinful that are considered fucking horrible in reality. Like before, when we talked about sexual slavery, it's not a sin to force a woman into sexual slavery in the ways that the Bible does it, okay? So there's that. In reality, that's fucking bullshit, and it's not right, okay? It's bad, okay? Forcing women to marry another person against their will, that's fucking wrong, but it's fine in the Bible. At least God, says that it's all right and actually mandates it on occasion. So, I mean, I'm just saying that, like, sin is not synonymous with morality or what's immoral. So I really don't care about being a sinner. I also don't care about being perfect. See, this is another idea in at least Christianity about this whole idea about being perfect. You got to be perfect. And so they create this sort of weird model in your head about how you should be. And how you should be is very vague. And it's just whatever you think is supposed to be the perfect person, what Jesus would be, right? And so because you can never attain that, that's why you need Jesus. This creates a toxic, codependent relationship between you and this fantastical God figure that apparently is the snake oil that you need to cure your cancer called sin that's ultimately going to consume you and kill you or whatever in the fuck after you die. And so it creates this toxic codependent relationship that is very emotionally abusive. And so I just would rather not have that kind of shit in my life. So thank you. I don't care about like the lie, steal, lust. That's just Ray Comfort shit that's meant to push you into a corner to admit, yeah, I've done that shit, so I guess I must be bad and I need Jesus. But all like the stealing, God commands that the Israelites, when they were leaving out of Egypt, with the Exodus and everything like that, they stole a bunch of shit from the Egyptians, but it's like God sort of moved in their hearts to just let people take their shit. And so it's technically not stealing, but I mean, in reality, in that particular context, I mean, I feel like that's it's close enough to stealing that you can make that argument. Lying, God has lied to people and actually has his prophets lie to the Israelites on occasion. Lusting, God regularly punishes, his people for lusting. So, I mean, I can't think of a situation in the Bible where lust is like good or anything like that. Like, David, had Bathsheba's, is that right? Bathsheba's husband sent to the front lines and killed just so that he could, not get in trouble for impregnating her after he slept with her. And, God ended up killing that kid for David's fuck up, which I don't know what the kid did. Like, I don't know why God had to kill the kid. Like that right there is kind of a shitty thing for God to do, kill a kid for the dad fucking up. Like, come on. to the fourth generation. Come on, just slice off his balls. I mean, what? No, they slice off the tip. But I mean, they already did that, so you know you can't like do it more. Just the tip. Okay. Anyways, enough of that rant. All right, so this is a very specific comment that you're going to need a little bit of background information on. Travis Williams here says that slaughter means to kill something for food. They were not killed for food. So what the context of this is I'm talking about how God commanded that the Israelites go into an entire city and slaughter everybody there. They did it in Jericho. They did it to the Midianites. There's examples in the Bible where God calls for the slaughter, the needless slaughter of innocent people and children. That's the context of this thing. And then Travis comes in and says slaughter means to kill something for food. And I don't see that whatsoever. For one thing, the use of the word slaughter is my word that I used, and it's used in the context that's commonly known now, not in a context that's commonly known like at the time that it was written. Okay. So it's not that God said, go in and slaughter everything. It actually says, go in and put everything under the knife, kill everything in the town and everything like that. And devote it to God is technically the phrase. And what it means by devote to God, it means to kill whatever he's talking about. And he specifically lists off men, women, young and old, and then cattle for Jericho. And then in Numbers 31 for the Midianites, he tells them to go in and kill everybody, including the women, all the boys, like even the boy children, and all the girls that have known a man, but keep the virgin girls as sexual slaves. So no, this entire comment's just missing the entire point. Let's see. Vanta Blue sent in a chat, which I can't put up on the screen. But Vanta Blue says, slaughter, 1, the killing or butchering of cattle and sheep, etc., especially for food. 2, the brutal or violent killing of a person, ergo, he's wrong. Definitely. Even in the way that I was using it, it's definitely wrong. But just know that that's my word, and I was using it in a modern context, and it's not a word that appears in those sections of the Bible that I'm talking about. Here's a post. On this post, I feel sorry for the child. I feel bad for the child in this situation. So this is some woman posting a natural health anti-vax community group. And it says, my 3-year-old is not vaccinated and there is currently a measles outbreak in my state. Any suggestions for precautions I can take to protect her would be very much appreciated. I agree, honey. Get her fucking vaccinated, you stupid bitch. KC 2022. Member Daniel M says, David says good night. Good night, David. I hope you have a great night there, buddy. I hope whatever toy you're playing with or whatnot is awesome, and that you have a great weekend. We'll see you next week there, bud. All right. So definitely get vaccinated. Get your child vaccinated. If your children aren't vaccinated for shit like the measles, I think that you need to work with your doctor to see how you can rectify that. So, but the best suggestion is to get them vaccinated. And I know that this person's not going to get them vaccinated, but I mean, the only way to prevent them from getting the measles would be to keep them isolated from the entire state, I guess. And yourself, because you've got to go to work, so you can't be around your kid whatsoever. Thanks for reminding me about that, hon. So that would be the best. Like, there's no magical snake oil or like, I don't know, blueberry blossom or something like that you can mix up in one of those like little stone things. We got one of those little stone medicine mixers or whatever, that you got the really heavy ass stone thing and you grind it up and everything, like there's nothing that you can make in fucking one of those bowls that would prevent the measles or boost immunity in the way that you would need for this situation. So just get your fucking kid vaccinated. Shit, it is not hard and it is safe. Jesus Christ. Okay. That's going to be it for the for all of that today, which I need to set up Bro Cephas's image real quick, cuz we do have Bro Cephas coming in to explain some shit. Oh, Daniel says that Daniel's birthday is on Monday? Oh, okay. Happy birthday there, Daniel. You know, we gotta do it. And if people want a song for their birthdays, you're gonna have to let us know on like the live streams or something, okay? I'm just saying, like, if it's close, just let me know and we'll get it done. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Daniel. Happy birthday to you. I can pretend to play all night long. Anyways, I'm going to go and get Bro Cephas, and I guess I will see you heathens here in a minute.
Shitty ass science! We're gonna answer some science shit really wrong.
Hey, I see you put pants on today.
Well, I had to go outside and do some shit out there, and then I just left on pants and shit.
Did you weed the flower bed?
I was supposed to weed. You didn't tell me I was supposed to weed the flower bed.
Oh.
Plus, I don't handle weed. I am a good Christian person, and I do not do drugs. Say no to drugs. Why are y'all growing weed out in your garden? Your flower bed, whatever in the fuck. Like, y'all don't need to be doing that.
I said weeds.
Yeah, the weeds. You got multiple strains out there?
No.
Like purple people eater and like, I don't know, green chevron?
What?
I don't know the strains because I'm a good Christian person.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. No, I don't go out there and fuck with weed, okay? I say no to drugs. Metalhead says weed is legal, not in Alabama or the federal government. So just keep that in mind, okay? Anyways, what do we got tonight? Why is Antarctica made of weird shapes? This is a fantastic idea, okay? So now listen, God created the earth, okay? I'm just going to straight up tell you, I know that GE will disagree with me, but God, he shat it out, okay? He just shat it out. It's kind of like an anal bead for him, okay? All 9 planets were. And so he just got them all out in like one of them OnlyFans videos. That's the service. He did it for like one of those OnlyFans videos, but it's like, back before everything was around. Anyways, so God made it, and then he made everything else, and he's like, oh shit, I need something on the end. It's just missing down here, and I gotta put something. And so, he just quickly masturbated and came in his hand, and then he used it like sort of like finger paint, and he went. And then, he had to go a few rounds in order to get enough material in order to make the thing. So, like, it's just a little multicolored there, a little bit. It looks like different shapes, but he painted it on the bottom of it, and that's what ice is. At least the ice that's covering Antarctica. That's what that place is called, right? That we call it, God just calls it his little nut. No? Anyways, wait, that is Antarctica though, huh? Okay, good. I got it right. Anyways, so, yeah, God made the earth, and then he just sort of pieced together Antarctica down there out of different loads, and that's how it came together. All right, now listen, I know a bunch of flat earth people out there are going to be like, no, the earth is flat. That's around the edge. And it's like, that doesn't make sense, okay? Nothing makes sense in a flat earth model, all right? These were anal beads that God used for his own sexual desires, okay? It was before he created humans and everything. This is in his past. It's a lot like the time when you're in college and you do things like shove a beer bottle up your ass and then get elected to the Supreme Court. Like, you just don't want to think about the time where you shoved a bottle up your ass and you drank beer the wrong way. You don't want to think about that, but then it gets brought up in some kind of like tribunal or something like that in Washington, D.C., and then it's uncomfortable. And we just don't need, a job interview, tribunal, I don't know, whatever. And so we just don't need to talk about God's OnlyFans days before the earth was created, okay? He doesn't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Let's just forget about it, okay? Anyways, that's how the earth was made and Antarctica was put together. Hope y'all learned something. I guess I will see you heathens later, and I will figure out how to fucking activate some shit over here. Okay, I'll see y'all later. Bye, heathens. Go to hell or something. I don't know. Fuck. Ooh, was that good enough?
You a hot mess.
I'm a hot mess. I'm just spewing facts over here, woman. Mm-hmm. Also, fuck these pants.
Oh, shit. Go to your room.
Helicopter, helicopter, helicopter. Sorry, I just gotta airlift my ass into the bedroom. Bye.
That's rude.
He really is kind of a dickhead, huh?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he's a dickhead. Whew, okay. All right, so obviously this is a satellite image. They took the pictures over different time frames, and so it just looks a little bit different because they were taken at different times of day or times of the year or whatever in the fuck. That's why that looks different. Anyways, all right. See, Syrian said the rest of the archipelago being the rest of the pearl necklace. Yep, definitely. Okay, so we've got the video to go to. Y'all ready to get on into the response video? I'm ready. Well, this is not, I did not think about having to frame this up correctly here. So, hold on one second. I need to put this together real quick.
Oh, do y'all smell that candy corn?
Was that the candy corn one?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, so the framing here is not going to be exact or anything, but you know, whatever. I didn't think about putting up like a shitty TV or something like that. We got Jason Kolasike did a super chat saying one might say there is no right way to drink beer. Because you shouldn't be drinking beer in the first place, I guess, because it's nasty. You know, huh? Definitely not through your butthole, but at least you can't taste the beer through your butthole. There are nerve cells that are similar to the nerve cells in your taste buds, yes. But I'm not saying you can taste with your ass. That would be horrible. Yeah. Anyways, you know what doesn't taste like shit? Kraken cream soda. You can't buy it in the store, but you can buy the ingredients. It's Kraken spiced rum and then Sprite Zero. I mean, I guess you could use regular Sprite, but who really needs all that kind of fucking sugar? So just get your Sprite Zero, Kraken, and you put some Kraken and Sprite in there, whatever kind of mixture you want. I think normally mine's like right here. Right here. About a third of Kraken in one of these giant fucking cups, apparently.
I mean, over the ice, so it's like if you took the ice out, it wouldn't be that much.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's that. I do have to agree that with somebody in the chat that says drafts are pretty good. I do like a good draft beer, but I've found myself leaning more towards the lighter beers, like, you know, I guess you'd call them bitch beers, Michelob Ultra, Bud Light, or Bud Light Platinum. Bud Light Platinum, I think, is probably my preferred one right now, just because it's 6% alcohol, whereas the other stuff is like either 4 or 5. So it just kind of depends. Anyways, we got this, we've got this Muslim apologist here that's going to be talking, and they're going to be saying a whole bunch of shit about how the Quran proves that Allah is the one true God. And apparently it's through scientific discoveries that the Quran knows about first. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Let's get on into the video.
My name is Shakir and I'm a mechanical engineer student. I would like to ask you a question that how can you prove to an atheist scientifically the existence of God?
All right, I think it's a very good question, and he's about to repeat the question, but basically he's asking, what is scientific? What would you consider to be scientific evidence for God, showing that God definitely does exist from a scientific standpoint? And I think that if you were to try to prove that God exists, I would think that you would want to do it scientifically, considering that the considering that the science is meant to like describe reality, like that's its main function. If you were looking to eliminate an aspect of reality, being that God exists, you would want to do that through science. If God has the ability to affect things in this reality, then he should be scientifically testable, or rather empirically testable and detectable. So considering all that, we should see something here from this guy. Let me, I wonder, this whole stage thingy, I wonder if I can do something about this. Can I like copy and then paste a duplicate? Yeah. Sorry, it's really fucking bugging me right now. And so I think I just want to do this real quick. I can't. I'm so sorry. I thought that I could like bear it for the purposes of this stream, but I no. So it's actually right here. I mean, it looks a little fucked up there at the bottom, but it's better than having like open shit at the sides. Anyways, this is good. Somebody said thank you. You're welcome. You're very welcome for fixing that. It was bugging the shit out of me too. All right, so let's get on over to the video.
The brother posed the question, how can you scientifically prove the existence of God Almighty, the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Especially to an atheist who does not believe in God. The first thing I will do is that I will congratulate that atheist. I'll congratulate him. You know why? If you look around us, he's a Hindu because father is a Hindu. He's a Christian because father is a Christian. Some Muslims are Muslim because their fathers are Muslim. This person, though he may be coming from a religious background, he does not believe in the false God which his parents attribute to. So he does not believe in God. I'm congratulating him because he's accepted the first part of the Shahada, the first part of the Islamic creed, La ilaha, there is no God.
Okay, so apparently we're dissecting the the whole, I think I'm not exactly sure what phrase he's talking about right there, but I think that it's, there is no God, but the one true God, Allah, in this particular case is probably what the rest of that sentence is going to. So, I mean, I do feel like he's setting up this entire thing to be very, I guess, it seems like he's trying to compliment the atheists for leaving their religion, but he's totally ignoring the atheists out there that have left Islam. And so he's only focusing on people that are atheists and come from different religious backgrounds. I feel like, you shitting on that particular demographic within atheism in this way as to not even acknowledge that they're existing or acknowledge them in your little preamble here to sort of have some kind of good introduction to the topic. It's something that I just notice immediately right off the bat. And I think it's, maybe he's not meaning to do it necessarily, but he's definitely not considering them to be part of the group that he's trying to extend his hand to. So, I don't know. I feel like you probably shouldn't do that if you're really looking to go this route into the conversation, but whatever the fuck.
Now my job is to prove illallah, but Allah, which I shall do inshallah. To the other people, I have to first remove the wrong concept of God and then prove the right concept of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here half my job is done. He has already said la ilaha. There's no God. Now I have to prove illallah, but Allah, which I shall do inshallah. You ask this atheist that suppose there is an object, an unidentified, maybe a flying object, which no one in the world has seen. No human being in the world knows about this object. If it's brought in front of you, and if you're asked that who will be the first person who will be able to tell you the mechanism of this unidentified object, you have to ask him the question. Who is the first person who will be able to tell you the mechanism of this new object which no one in the world has seen? After thinking for a while, he'll give the answer. The person who will be able to tell you the mechanism, the first person, is the creator of that object.
Well, true, the creator would be, like if I created something, then it would be incumbent upon me to explain like what I've created, I guess. And I would know immediately because I'm the one that created it, right? This works well for, human-made objects or created objects created by an intelligence. And I know what he's trying to get to here, and that's that God created everything, right? God is the creator of everything, so he is going to know how everything works, all right? Him being omniscient, he would also know those things, so he doesn't necessarily have to be a creator, but in this guy's idea, this God is a creator God. And so ideally that would be the case if, we actually have evidence of God explaining any of this shit to us, but we don't. And we use science in order to investigate and figure out how reality works or figure out how these things operate, like natural processes and stuff. So, I mean, the fact that we can't consult a book, inspired by God, written by God, or anything like that, to illuminate how things work in reality.
Donating this much only makes me drink more.
It's true, it does. I think speaks volumes to the fact that we just simply don't have evidence that this God even exists. I think that we are just here. We have to figure out how shit works because nobody's going to give us the answer to it. We have to do the hard work. We've always had to do the hard work. So I don't know exactly how he's going to use this to prove God, but he's going to attempt it. We get a super chat from MathWiz saying he clearly has never seen a software engineer try to read the code they wrote last week. That's a good point because there will be times when I switch out my branches in Git and I'll go back to it. I'll be like, what the fuck was I doing here? oh no, that's all wrong. Like, why the fuck was I doing this? Kind of thing. It's also hard to sometimes figure out why other people modified your own code the way that they did, because it's like, my code was working perfect. Okay, motherfucker? All right? My code was perfect. God himself would have authored this fucking code, which wouldn't actually be the flex that you think it would be. But in any case, thank you so much there, MathWiz, for the donation. I appreciate you.
Some may say manufacturer, some may say producer. Whatever they say, don't grapple with the word, accept it. It will be somewhat similar, either creator or producer or manufacturer. But remember what he has told you. Keep it in your mind. Then ask him the next question. How did the universe come into existence? How was it formed? He will tell you by the Big Bang Theory. Tell him the Quran mentions in Surah Anbiya, chapter 21, verse number 30, about the Big Bang Theory.
Oh, I'm so glad you're bringing up specific verses at this point, because guess what? I don't know if you know this, honey, but you know what? We've got fucking receipts.
We do?
We got receipts. Here is the verse he's talking about. This is on by it's the Quran, the Surah, chapter 21, verse 30, and this is where he's getting it from. It says, and this is just the translation of the Arabic that's up there.
And this is the argument for the Big Bang Theory.
This is Big Bang Theory. It says, do the disbelievers not realize that the heavens and earth were once one mass, then we split them apart? And we created from water every living thing. Will they not then believe? So I have a couple of problems with this in general. For one thing, the heavens and the earth were once one mass. What we know, like, it depends on what's meant by the heavens here. Generally, in this time frame of the 6th century AD, like when they talk about the heavens, they just mean things that are outside of the earth, right? The heavens. They don't it's not like they mean the planets or anything like that. They mean everything out there. And so, like, he's trying to suggest that means that everything was together in one mass, meaning like the singularity at the beginning of the universe. Everything was one mass, and then Allah split them apart. And this is a lot of heavy lifting on the interpreter side for this particular verse right here, because I mean, just simply saying everything was together and then we split them apart, that doesn't exactly tell us a whole lot. Like, especially about the Big Bang hypothesis. For one thing, here's something that doesn't make sense that actually proves them wrong about this, about the whole idea of ripping them apart. Gesundheit. That's big. That's okay. Sirnian brings up a good point in this side chat over there. Who is this we? That's a good point. I don't know what he's talking about, but anyways, so just to give you the best hypothesis of how our universe inflated, the best hypothesis that we have so far is that a quantum scalar field fluctuated from a false vacuum state into a true vacuum state. When it does this, an immense amount of energy is released. Now, if you know your, it's either general or special relativity. I can't remember right now, but energy, mass can be translated into energy, and energy can be translated into mass. And so an immense amount of energy is released. There's a near instantaneous inflation of the universe, and it continued to inflate at a normal rate after that point. But the point is that it inflated, and the universe was so hot and dense that atoms couldn't even form. Like it was so hot and dense, light couldn't travel through the universe. So that's how hot and dense the early universe was. And Huh? Oh, it sounds like some of the apologists we know. And it was that way for around 300,000 years as we would experience them here on Earth. And so that's before atoms could even form. This isn't even talking about like, whole ass planets forming. The Earth didn't form until about 4.5 billion years ago. So with the universe being so hot and dense that it couldn't even form atoms until 300,000 years after the inflation event, it really does cast a lot of doubt on this passage as mentioning the Big Bang. Because what it talks about here is that the heavens and earth were smushed into one mass. Okay? It doesn't say anything about a quantum scalar field. It doesn't talk about a fluctuation between a false vacuum state and a true vacuum state. It doesn't talk about an inflation event or anything like that. And then it says we split them apart. Okay? Split them apart. There was no splitting apart of anything. The energy that was released and inflated our universe, there was no like splitting apart there. It just fucking inflated quick. And it wasn't until much later that atoms were able to form. How do you get all of that from this verse? From an indication that there was a Big Bang. We get an indication that God created the universe, but we don't get an indication that there was like an actual Big Bang or how the Big Bang happened as far as we understand it to right now with our best hypothesis. And then of course he's going to go into the every living thing was created out of water thing, and we'll address that here in a minute. But safe to say, this verse right here does not say anything about the Big Bang, doesn't give us any kind of indication about the Big Bang. And I don't think it should be used to verify that the Quran knew about the Big Bang before we knew about the Big Bang. The wrong translation? No. No. Once is in quotations. On that previous screen, once is in or in one was in quotations. So those particular parts are kind of interpreted. You're right. It's interpreted, but still, even with the interpretation there, it doesn't make sense.
Who could have mentioned this in the Quran 1400 years ago? So he will tell you, maybe it's a fluke. Don't argue with him. Next part of the question. We did not know that the light of the moon is reflected light. We came to know recently. You ask him, he'll tell you, yes. The light of the moon is reflected light. It's not its own light. When we discovered, he will tell you recently, yesterday, 50 years back, 100 years back, yesterday in science. You tell him, the Quran mentions that the light of the moon is reflected light 1400 years ago. Who could have mentioned that? Maybe somebody had a wild guess. Don't argue with him. Continue. We thought the sun was stationary.
Okay. I thought that he gave us like something to look at. Well, let's see, 331. Did I miss a citation for the? Oh, I know. I was looking for him to put it up on the screen.
That first one is the only one he puts on the screen.
Right. Yeah. They less than half-ass it in this video. There wasn't a verse. I thought that maybe that there was a verse, but there's not. So we do have receipts for this, and he's got some kind of weird. He's got like a really weird interpretation of this particular verse. I've got the. Apparently, I did not screen cap this part exactly. Oh, huh? Well, yeah, I'm looking to get it right now. And so I'm just going to throw it up on the screen real quick. Let's see. Could have sworn that I had it, but apparently not. Oh no, I mean, I've got it pulled up. I just got to get a window. I just got to share a window here. Window capture. That's what I was looking for. So sorry, everybody. Hold on. Okay. So this I'm gonna have this link in the description afterwards, but we did some both KC mainly and I did some digging on this, and so one of the surahs that he gets it that you can get it from is Surah 71:15-16, and that's it says, "See ye not how Allah has created the seven heavens, one above the other, and made the moon in light, nur is the word, in their midst, and made the sun is a lamp, shiraj." And then as you can, you can't see yet. Hold on. Right down here, there is also this same guy, Dr. Naik, this Naik, this is the same guy. He also cites this, saying, Surah 2561 says, "Blessed is he who made constellations in the skies and placed therein a lamp and a moon which has reflected light." But the problem is that let me pull this up real quick. Okay, so here is the Quran verse that's typically presented, at least by Dr. Zakir Naik. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. I'm sorry if I'm not. But it says, "Blessed is the one who has placed constellations in the sky, as well as a radiant lamp and a luminous moon." But the problem is that when you look at the actual text, like on this Quran.com, you can actually hover over it and see the literal translations of each Arabic word or phrase. And it says, "Blessed is he who has placed in the skies constellations and has placed therein a lamp and a moon shining." So the typical, y'all aren't going to be able to see this too well right now, but it says, "and the moon which has reflected light." And so this is like an interpretation or a translation kind of thing. They have to say that, oh, this means a reflected light, not just any kind of like light that's shining out there that could be, like it could be producing its own light. But the problem is that the words that are used here, like in Arabic, the words that are used here are used all over the Quran to talk about lamps and lights in different contexts. One of those contexts being that they call Allah the light of heaven and earth. And so with Allah being the light, they use the same Arabic word for light as they do for the moon. And this gives us an indication as to what do they mean when they use this word in the Quran. In the Quran, when they use this word, since they're talking about Allah being the source of the light, right? They also use the same words in other places to talk about how certain books can be they can be the light source for knowledge, or they can be the source of knowledge. They use similar words to talk about the books like that here as being the source of knowledge, and Allah is the source of the light in heaven and earth. In the same way here in this Quran verse, when they talk about the moon, they talk about the moon as a light, meaning that the light gives off its own light, just like in the Bible. Because the Bible has that the moon is its own light too, not that it's reflected light. And we see the exact kind of sentiment here in the Quran. So there's that aspect of this, that he is getting this particular idea wrong. But more importantly, we had indications that the moon did not give off its own light for a long time prior to the Quran being written. Was it... Crap, I can't remember the name that you said, honey. I know that you sent me a link about it. Maybe. Oh, sorry. The earliest known indications that the moon didn't give off its own light. It was during observations of lunar eclipses. The Earth would move between the sun and the moon, and you would see a lunar eclipse, and that was kind of our first indication that the moon reflected light, and it was noted and observed way before the Quran was written. So we knew about 600 BC, I think is what it was. Thank you there, Eric Mishima, in the chat. I know you said it earlier, and I didn't write it down there, hon. Anyways, so we noticed these things at an early time, and so even if the Quran was correct about this, that the translation literally meant reflected light, we knew about this way before the Quran was written. So this is not actually proof of anything. Oh, okay. Thank you, honey.
You ask him, is it stationary? He'll say, no, it's rotating and revolving. When did you learn this? He will tell you yesterday.
Huh? Okay. I just got to go back a little bit because I didn't hear what he said.
You ask him, is it stationary? He'll say, no, it's rotating and revolving.
Hold on, I need to go back just a little bit farther so that I can capture like what the topic that he's talking about, because he's talking about the geocentrism thing.
Maybe somebody had a wild guess. Don't argue with him. Continue. We thought the sun was stationary. You ask him, is it stationary? He'll say, no, it's rotating and revolving. When did you learn this? He will tell you yesterday, 50 years back, 100 years back. Quran mentions this 1400 years ago. He will hesitate, but may say, maybe some intelligent person wrote it. Don't argue with him. Continue.
Don't continue just yet. Hold on. I've got to talk about some shit here. So we are going to go on over here to our little Bible thing. Sorry, not Bible thing, citation sort of scene here. So this is the Quran 13:2, and this says, Allah it is who raised up the heavens without visible supports, then mounted the throne and compelled the sun and the moon to be of service. Each runneth unto an appointed term. He ordereth the course. He detaileth the revelations, that haply ye may be certain of the meeting with your Lord. Basically, this is what this is saying, is that it says that the sun runneth unto an appointed term. So the sun moves around the earth. The Quran does not support heliocentrism. It supports geocentrism. So I guess he's fucking wrong about that as far as what the Quran says. And I feel like it's very important that we discuss like how wrong he is about what the Quran actually supports. First off, but second off, it should be known that the first indications of a heliocentric sort of universe comes from Philolaus of Croton, 470 to 385 BCE. That was when the the notion that the Earth revolves around the sun had been proposed as early as the 3rd century BC by Aristarchus of Samos, who had been influenced by a concept presented by Philolaus of Croton, 470 to 385. And then in the 5th century BC, Greek philosophers Philolaus and Hesitas had thought on different occasions that our Earth was spherical and revolving around a mystical central fire, and that this fire regulated the universe. So the whole idea of a heliocentric universe is actually pretty old concerning the claims here made by Dr. Zakir Naik. Oh, yes, and well predates Islam. In case you guys don't know, Islam came about the 7th century AD, and the time frames that we're talking about so far as these ideas coming up, while not popular, they did exist, happened well in the BCE time frame. So that's just so y'all know. Anyways, so no, the Quran does not support a heliocentric universe. It supports a geocentric universe. And as we'll find out here in a minute, it also supports a flat earth. And so he's wrong on 2 accounts yet again. He's wrong on what the Quran says. And then he's also wrong on when these ideas were first thought, or when these ideas came into being, when people started thinking about these things. It wasn't during the Quran's writing, it was well before.
How was the universe initially? What a celestial matter. He will tell you, it was smoke. How did you come to know? We have got proof, we have got evidence. You tell him, Quran mentioned this 14 years ago. Who could have mentioned that? He will hesitate. Don't wait for response. Continue. Keep on posing question after question.
Now he's given basically a pretty short master course on how to gish gallop your interlocutor so that they don't have time to respond to anything. You didn't? No. He wants you to just keep posing these questions, keep trying to think of the word. I can't find the word. Keep hitting your interlocutor with all of these questions and all these ideas so that they can't respond. And he just wants you to keep doing that. Gish galloping is pretty shitty. I like to discuss one particular claim or one particular topic, fully discuss it, and then move on. And so it's ridiculous to gish gallop somebody, because that's not you wanting to have a discussion. He's not wanting you to actually have like any kind of productive discussion. He just wants to bully the other person into agreeing with him. And that's what the gish gallop is used for.
All that I give in the lecture, keep on posing one question after the other. That water cycle, how do we come to know about it? Quran mentioned 14 years ago. About every living thing made from water. Who could have mentioned that?
Well, considering that we have a well-established idea of how integral water is to not only our survival, but also the survival of other living organisms on this planet, and this was definitely something that we noticed way beforehand, it wouldn't take much in order to draw that line from here's water. Oh, could we be made of water in some kind of way? We're not like made of water in the way that he's referencing, which we're actually going to look at the reference to it here in a second. But to be made of water, I feel like that has some connotations to it. But let's get on over to the other screen real quick. Let me go ahead and set it up. All right, so this is the verse that he's talking about. It says, as you can tell in the second half of the verse here, and we created from water every living thing, will they then not believe? So creating everything from water makes it sound like you take a cup of water and you can make the Geico Gecko and I guess save 10% off your car insurance. It makes it seem like you could form the water into some kind of living animal. And while water is integral to not only living organisms' survival, but we also evolved from, living in the water to living on land, and that's the reason why we're so dependent on water. It still doesn't mean that this is correct, that God has formed everything out of water. There's a lot missing here. It's missing as to why the water is important to our human bodies or any other organism's body. It misses out on explaining like why plants need water, why everything needs water. Water is an integral part of life on Earth, and it doesn't actually explain like why that is necessary. It just says, well, God formed them like clay, but out of water. And so you're not really explaining anything here. There's no illumination of information. It's just, hey, water's important to us is what I get out of it. So there's like, there's nothing here that would seem to indicate that we're made out of water in the same way that there's no kind of indication here that they were meaning this scientifically. This is definitely a magical creation out of water. Oh, shit. All right, let's continue.
Quran speaks about botany, the male and female. Who could have mentioned that? Pose one after the other and ask the question, who could have written that? Then you tell him that there's a theory known as theory of probability. That if you have two choices, out of which one is right, the chances that you will make the correct choice just at random is 1 in 2. For example, if I toss a coin, it can either be heads or tails. The chances that I'll be right will be 1 in 2. If I toss it twice, the chances that I'll be right both the times will be 1 upon 2 multiplied by 1 upon 2, that is 1 upon 4, 25% chance. If I toss it thrice, chances I'll be right all 3 times, 1 upon 2 multiplied by 1 upon 2 multiplied by 1 upon 2, it's 1 upon 8, 12.5%. A dice has got 6 sides. If I throw a dice, the chances that at random I'll be correct is 1 upon 6. If I throw it twice, the chances that both the time I'll be right will be 1 upon 6 by 1 upon 6, 1 upon 36. This is called as theory of probability. If I throw the dice twice and then toss a coin, all 3 being right will be 1 upon 6 by 1 upon 6 by 1 upon 2 is 1 upon 72.
I like how everybody out there is just sort of like, okay. Right. So fractional math is hard, and then you're transferring it into a percentage. So sure, bud. I didn't realize I was coming to a math class. But I mean, that's I have no problem with how he describes probability working, but I'm wondering how he's going to use probability in order to argue that science proves God exists and that one God is Allah.
So you ask him, the chances maybe, if you ask, what is the shape of the earth? There are various shapes. Some may say it is flat, some may say it's triangular, some may say it is hexagonal, some may say pentagonal, some may say heptagonal, some may say square. Say there can be 10 shapes.
A triangle Earth because Illuminati. You know, a triangle Earth would make a lot of sense with the Illuminati. Oh, it's not going to show up all that great.
Oh, that's right. Because it's on a freaking
We need to get like a blue Illuminati one. I don't know how it looks. Yeah, well, I mean, you can kind of see it. I mean, it's a little bit. The glitter does help. I'm gonna have glitter all over me like herpes here tonight. But anyways, it's definitely a triangle, right? The Earth is triangle shaped, and I need you all to believe it. Also, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk had a devil baby, and it's called Mark Zuckerberg, and they all want you to buy everything that they sell. Musk really wants you to buy Twitter right now. If you could just alleviate that from his plate, that would be great. You know, like 7 years later, that thing is still handy. That's the best like $1.50 we've spent.
I made that.
I know, but you got all of the like stuff that you used to make it, and so you could probably.
I have all of that stuff.
I know, and all of it would have been like if you were to buy it individually or anything like that, like maybe $1.50. Anyways, so I don't know why he's starting out with like 10 shapes, like. Oh, is it? Wait, hold on, what?
I was just wondering if you had any thoughts around
Secret Dr. Craig. I don't know why that happened. Let's see. Video sources. Okay. We'll figure it out here in a minute. Anyways, so I don't know why he would start off with 10 shapes. Because I mean, generally the conversation around the shape of the Earth is either spherical or flat. I don't know, like there are some ridiculous people out there that claim like donuts or inverted or something like that. But like I don't know why, like it seems superfluous to like be like, let's start with 10 shapes, huh? How about we do 10 shapes? I don't know why we would start out that way.
Some may say it is round, it is spherical. The chances that if anyone makes a wild guess, it being correct is 1 upon 10.
Well, while true, I mean, he's totally neglecting the fact that we have background knowledge into that would affect the guess that we have. So what he's proposing is a wild ass guess with no background information, with no no information about like what shape the Earth could be or anything like that. And so you're going to make a wild ass guess. And so in that particular situation, yes, it would be 1 in 10. You just pick random shape. And you don't know if it's right or wrong. See, that's what I hate about like, the lotteries and what's the slot machines? Like there's really no skill to it. You just you just hit a button and you're picking whatever and you're you might win something, you might not. And there's no way to know. There's no educated guess behind it. But in reality, you would have background information that you would use in order to make an informed and educated guess. So he's using kind of an analogy fallacy here. He's using a false analogy in order to compare your choice in the shape of the earth between 10 shapes and a real choice that would really only include 2 shapes, flat or spherical. And given the background information that you have, you could probably predict with pretty fairly accurately what the shape of the earth is, depending on your sample size and where you got all your individuals from. Most people would probably pick spherical, and they wouldn't even bother with the other shapes. So is it truly like the distribution that he's talking about? No, because he's not factoring in background information. And that's the fatal flaw in his whole probability argument here.
The light of the moon, it can either be its own light or it can be reflected light. The chances that you make a wild guess and it being correct will be 1/2. The chances that both...
he talks about the flat earth thing. And I meant to bring this up, and I should have earlier before we continued. There's a number of key verses in the Quran that you guys might want to know about. So this one right here is from Quran 15:19. That says, "And the earth have we spread out and placed therein firm hills and caused each seemingly thing to grow therein." So spreading out the earth right there, that is obviously not a spherical earth kind of situation there. That is definitely a flat kind of earth. And then we this one's a little bit more complicated to explain. So it's actually like between 83, I think, Quran 1883 to like 90. But these are a couple of verses that are in this section. And it says, till, or it talks about them traveling on a road. And when he reached the setting place of the sun, he found it setting in a muddy spring. And so it's talking about a flat earth because there's no place where the sun sets on the earth because it's spherical. There's not one place on the earth where the sun goes, right? It's also very far away, of course. And then later on in 90, we've got when he reached the rising place of the sun, he found it rising on a people for whom we had appointed no shelter therefrom. So there's a place on the earth where the sun rises from, and there's a place on the earth where the sun sets from. That would make sense if it was small, local, and on a flat earth, but not on a spherical earth. And so, yeah, there's all that. Also, another thing that in post, I'll probably have to put this in the appropriate place, but, there's not going to be an appropriate place. Rather, the Quran thinks that there are meteorites, and comets, all this other shit in the sky that are missiles meant to take out devils in space and send them to hell. Like, this is in it. This is 67:5 of the Quran. Comets are missiles meant to take out devils. They're missiles of doom. Of the doom flame. So I don't want to hear this shit about like them believing in reflected light off the moon or heliocentrism or anything like that. They think that missiles or shootings... missiles. They think that comets or meteorites or any other planetary body out there that's not like an actual planet that's freely moving through the universe, they think that those are missiles meant to fucking no-scope devils and send them to hell. I don't really think you have a scientific leg to stand on there, Dr. Naik.
Shape of the earth and light of the moon being reflected light, both being correct. If you make a wild guess, it will be 1/10 multiplied by 1/2, it is 1/20. What can the living creature be made of? Some may say sand, some may say stone, some may say aluminium, some may say gold, say 1,000 materials you can name. Some may.
I'm sorry. Why would you think that humans are made of gold or aluminum or sand? Did we say sand at the same time? Yeah. Okay. Great minds, huh? I mean, why would you say those things? Like, again, throughout this entire section here, he's eliminating background information in order to make his case that probabilistically the Quran being right about all these things is not likely. But he has to eliminate any background information you could have. Like, I would think that even, 2,000 years ago, people wouldn't have thought that humans were made out of sand. Now, they probably did think that there might be some creatures or some people that were made out of sand or something like that. They could have thought that. But in their general experience, they did not perceive themselves to be made out of sand or gold or anything like that. So I don't know why he's introducing all these things. He has to eliminate background information in order for his argument to seem coherent when it really is not coherent. There are men made of snow. That's right, but not where the Quran was written.
Say water, some may say silver, 1,000 material. The chances that you make a wild guess and one of them being right, according to mathematics, is 1 upon 1,000. The chances that all three being correct, the earth is spherical, light of the moon is reflected light, and every living creature created from water is correct, will be 1 upon 10, multiplied by 1 upon 2, multiplied by 1 upon 1,000. Answer comes to 1 upon 20,000, or 0.005%. Quran speaks about scientific science more than 1,000 verses. In 3 verses, the answer comes to 0.05%. If you apply probability theory to all this being at random chance, it will come to zero, negligible.
Now, again, just to reiterate, he has to eliminate the background information about all these so-called scientific facts in order for his argument to be coherent, or at least seem coherent. But the problem is that these are not wild guesses. Like, even if we went with his whole idea that the Quran talks about the moon being reflected light, which it doesn't, or the Quran being right about the primary makeup of living organisms on this earth, or the Quran being correct about the shape of the earth. Like, if we were to factor in all of those things and say, yes, the Quran got those right, to eliminate the background information is to drive a narrative in your direction that you want to move in. And it's misleading your audience to think that, what your argument is sound when it really is not. Because if you factor in the background information, like, we've known about the moon reflecting light since, ancient Greek times. We've known about heliocentrism for about the same amount of time. We've known about, so many different things about the importance of water to living organisms on this planet. Especially in the Middle East. All of these things. If you eliminate the background information on it, then it would be wild guesses. But considering that we've known all these things, what? Motherfucker subscribed. That's great. I'm glad motherfucker did. That motherfucker's awesome. But considering that we have this background information, they're not wild guesses, and therefore we should expect to see this in the Quran. But it's also important to note that the Quran does not support the things that he's talking about. Could there be some scientifically accurate things in the Quran? Probably. But that does not mean that the Quran is revealed by God. Just because they got shit right because people already knew these things doesn't mean that God illuminated it to them, right? Or sorry, Allah, however you should pronounce it.
And in maths, anything 1 in 10 raised to 50, it's equal to 0.
This is important. I didn't think about this earlier, but when he's talking about small sets, like if you're talking about just like a small set of people guessing these things, yes, 1 over 1,000 to the 50 or whatever kind of fraction he talked about there, that would be pretty negligible. Like you're more than likely not going to get like what you would need out of that small group. But for like, and this is a common argument against abiogenesis. But if you have a large set of items and you don't have a 0% chance, then more than likely that is going to happen. The fact that it's not 0% means that it will happen. It just will not happen often. And so in the general experience, will it happen? No. But over the course of billions of years, will it happen? Yes. It will definitely happen at some point. Just it's not very likely to happen. And it will definitely repeat if you have a big enough set. So you just have to understand that about probabilities. Unless it's a 0% chance, then there is a chance it will happen.
So you ask your atheist friend, who could have written this? The only answer he can give you is this first answer, the creator, the manufacturer.
You see, this all has been building to this particular point. From the very beginning of the video where he's talking about, oh, the creator would know how his creations work. Well, obviously. And so the creator illuminated everything through the Quran. Examples are blah, 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 which are not really examples, but he claims that they're examples. In any case, he says, these are the examples. Look, the creator illuminated it through here, and it's highly unlikely that the Quran authors would have gotten this right just by randomly guessing. So therefore, there had to be a creator. That's his argument in a nutshell. But what he has to do, and what all apologists have to do whenever they talk about these proofs for God, is that they have to eliminate information in order for their arguments to seem logically sound. The fact that background information exists that would inform the Quran authors to put certain things in the Quran that would be scientifically correct is a pretty big blow to this argument. If you eliminate that information, yeah, it seems highly unlikely they would have gotten it right just by pulling it out of their ass. Just like everything else you pull out of your ass. But considering the background information is there, you cannot eliminate it from your conclusion. You have to take that into account.
The person has produced it. That's the only answer. There's no other answer. What science is saying today is they are not eliminating God. They are eliminating models of God. La ilaha illallah. They are not eliminating God, but models of God. I hope that answers the question.
So they're not eliminating God. They're eliminating different ideas about God. And apparently science illuminates Allah as the one true God. Anyways, Cadence, hold on, I should probably put this on screen because Cadence nailed it on the head right there. Totally didn't answer the question. You're right, because none of this was scientific. Nothing that he said was like a scientific answer about God. He tried to use mathematics to prove God. So if the question was, what's the mathematical model that proves that God exists, then he could probably pull out his probability thing. But even then, that doesn't actually prove God. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense. But there's no scientific proof in here. There's just claims that the Quran makes scientific statements that were true before we knew that they were scientifically true. But as we've observed through looking at the Quran, that's just not true, because the Quran does not support the scientific statements that he says it supports. It supports the exact opposite, meaning that it supports the scientifically or the unscientific information, not the scientific information. So let's head back over here. So yes, all in all, for this video, I was not impressed. The probability argument, all probability arguments for God seem to be lacking in I don't know, good premises. They lack in background information about what they're trying to do. I mean, they're just lacking in general. And so I am not impressed with it. I feel like him being Dr. Zakir Naik, I feel like he should know what the Quran says, and he probably feels like he does know what the Quran says. He just has a very specific translation, and this translation that he's communicating to his audience, it only leads in the direction that he wants it to lead in, because he has a narrative that he wants to tell, and he is going to use information. He's going to twist and he's going to mold it in order to tell that narrative, because it's only that narrative that exists. It's only that narrative that makes sense.
But even if all of it was translated correctly, these ideas all already existed.
Right. Thanks for reminding me about that, hon. But even if he was correct about what the Quran supports, being these scientific statements, they were all known facts well before the Quran wrote them down. Well, sorry, known facts was misspeak on my part. That they were all ideas already in circulation prior to the Quran being written. And so it's not that the Quran was the first one to come up with these ideas. It's just that the Quran would have been the one to write them down, or whoever wrote the Quran wrote them down in the Quran. But that's not actually the case, but even if it were, that still wouldn't prove that God exists. So anyways, that's going to be it for our show tonight. I hope you guys appreciated it. I know this was kind of a different show than we normally do. We normally, just focus on Christian apologists, William Lane Craig, for one. Huh? But Casey did help. This is Casey's pick this week. She helped me find video in order to suggest to the Skeptic Mafia. And so I really appreciate you helping me with that there, hon. I'm sure everybody doesn't really appreciate it, maybe. But in any case, I really appreciate everybody being here tonight. And, next week we've got a lot of great videos that are going to be coming out. We've got Skeptic Mafia podcast that should be being posted up. We've got, the Bible podcast that'll be posted up. We've also got 2 fresh videos that are going to be going up next week. So, I think that I'll probably play maybe some gaming tomorrow. I think actually I'm on an RFR. I think I'm on an RFR stream tomorrow. I'm just now remembering it, but yes, there's like a fundraiser thing I'm on for like 30 minutes. Yeah. So anyways, I'll be on that tomorrow, and I'll be sure to share that out on the community tab. But I like I said, I really appreciate everybody showing up tonight, watching the video. Be sure to like it before you leave out. We've got 72 people watching and 53 likes. If you haven't liked it before you leave out, smash that like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And, I guess I'll see you guys next week when we got a whole bunch of new content coming your way. So don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens. But don't go, because we've got the Skeptic Mafia comments. So if you don't know, if you're part of the Skeptic Mafia, you can leave comments on the video or for the video that we review that week, and then I will interact with those comments and read them live on air at the end of the stream. So if you want to be able to leave your own thoughts on the video on Friday nights, consider to become a Skeptic Mafia member at the Mafioso level, and you can leave a comment too. So let's get to these comments on this post. See, any held for review? Nope. Let's see. Let's get this set up. So sorry about this, guys. I like how simple Jonathan Hanachek is. No, why? I'm not sure. I'm guessing maybe it's just the title that you're responding to, but all right. Jester, Lord of Fools, says about 60% of the human male body is 55% is water, and 55% in women. Therefore, your Quran is about 55 to 60% correct, which nets you an F, because the other things are important too. Also, Eratosthenes, Aristotle, Copernicus, and Pythagoras all theorized that the earth was round before your shitty book was written. So I'm going with the body of knowledge that points out its own errors and corrects them when it finds them. Yes, that's a good point, is that science doesn't present dogmatic claims. Everything in science can be proved wrong with enough evidence. And I feel like that extends to the discussion on God, even philosophically, because I feel like any position should be able to be overcome with enough evidence. And the problem is that religion only proposes dogmatic statements that can't be questioned. And science doesn't. Science is always looking to learn. Thank you so much, Jester, for your comment there. Jason Kolasik says, it took religion to make man think that the moon was a source of light. Naval gazers from cave painting days likely understood why the moon had phases. That's a good point. I mean, like I said, we've known about like the phases of the moon and all that other kind of stuff for a long time. Michael W. Robles says, why would anyone with the smallest amount of intelligence believe a single thing that this dolly hat wearing grifter has to say? Oh, I see my mistake. I'm expecting these indoctrinated, uneducated drones attending this clown's sausage party to think for themselves. Just look at the dude asking the question and tell me you can change his mind in your lifetime. So give KCGE a like if you must, and kick the idea of God in the balls every chance you get. P.S. Sorry for the ad homs and attitude in my comment. Living in Florida, it has been a miserable week. You know, hurricanes, assholes getting elected. I fucking know, man. I hate that for you there, Michael. Next up is Command Cyborg, who says, oh dear Sanctus Darwinicus. Most of this crap you go on about isn't told by the Quran at all. You're reading between the lines and skipping lines, my dude. Who the fudge says the world is triangular? What did you smoke before this talk? I'm not sure if I want some, but I'd rather stay as far away as I can. Biological life is not made out of, next word in the Hovind voice, water. What water? The one point I give you is you almost understand the we just believe in one God less thing. You just get that one. You just even get that one wrong, as I'm trying to not get held for review this week. Insert appropriate cussing. I was told to keep it short. I did ask politely that people kind of keep it a little short this week. Who the fridge knows how long a paragraph is anyway? A single symbol like this? Well, my dear mullah, or whatever the fuck you are, Here's something to consider. I heard from a bad authority it's 15 foot long. Oh, the whale peen. I bet the holy text of yours never mentioned it. Probably didn't. Smash all the buttons, ring a ding dong, become mafiosos. You can vote for another video, but get this one instead. And it's for some good cause. GE might tell you about it, and mostly for the fun of it. Oh, well, yes. So the good cause this month is Kids to Love. They do a lot of work with foster kids. They find them homes. They provide for them a Christmas. They also provide for them school supplies and other things that foster kids need. And so we generally donate in November money to the Kids to Love Foundation so that they can buy kids a good Christmas, so they can get kids a good Christmas, something like that. So if you want to help us out, we really appreciate everybody that's already helped us out with the super chats and everything like that. We also really appreciate all the mafiosos, because you two also help contribute every single month. So thank you for that. Thank you and good night. Goodbye, world. Transmission terminated. Oh, that's all, folks, is another thing he said. All right, next up is Jonathan Nickel. Was a little liberal with the paragraph. Jonathan Nichols says, note to Muslims, if someone asks you a question in English, don't bother speaking Arabic in your response. You demonstrate nothing, as they likely won't understand those words. His first assertion that the first part of his proof is to disprove their God concept is sheer nonsense. You don't need to disprove anything. You are required to provide positive proof of your claim. He says the first person who will tell you about any of the properties of an unknown object is its creator, but what is he asserting was created. As he moves on to the Big Bang, that would be the universe, but he hasn't demonstrated that. The surah he shows us talks of the universe being a solid mass and we're tore apart and that living things are made out of water. He did not quote the text. I looked it up, but that does not describe the Big Bang or the origin of life. There is a difference between life forms being mostly water and being made from water. He does not make that distinction. Gives other examples, but does not even state where in the Quran they are found, which I thought was really weird, because he started with some citations, but then he just gave up on the fucking citations at that point. It was kind of, yeah, he was just like, fuck it, I'll just say it, and you just gotta trust it. Let's see. Based on the first failure, I would suspect these two are vague or inaccurate. That entire section was a post hoc rationalization. Most of them are. They do it for the Bible too, a post hoc rationalization of verses in the Bible. The rest of his talk is a discussion of probability, and he asks what are the odds of the Quran getting all this right. From what I see, the Quran did not arrive at the correct answers, and even if it had, it may just be that the prophet made some lucky, possibly vaguely educated guesses. It does not prove the existence of Allah or any other God. Yes, that's exactly how I feel about it too. Thank you so much. Oh, Tomato Girl Zoomies got some new, not exactly ASCII art. This looks fancy. Tomato Girl Zoomy says the Quran scientifically accurate. We're talking about the same book that promotes geocentrism. The moon is a light source, and that masturbating can cause your hand to become pregnant. Yep, that one too. Yeah, I wonder if that's how humans were born when God was painting Antarctica on the ass end of the earth, because he had to do a couple shots in his hand in order to palm it enough. The Quran is as scientifically accurate as Thomas the Tank Engine book. No, actually, Thomas is more scientifically accurate. Anyways, on to the ASCII, and it's just a sus ASCII, which I actually kind of like this. This is nice. Because this guy is totally sus. Oh, and just for funsies, Google the scientific name of pigs. Okay, I feel like I gotta know what the scientific name of pigs. Scrofa domesticus. These are totally sus motherfuckers, that's for sure. Sus scrofa. Cattle are Bos taurus, and a dog is Canis lupus familiaris. Sus scrophus domesticus. Damn. Yeah, there you go. Sus. Awesome. And if you don't want to be sus, go ahead and lick that like button. Go ahead and lick the subscribe button and a bell, and fuck it, just give me give your phone one huge big sloppy lick. We would like to say don't lick your phones; they're probably nasty. Make sure to coat that bitch in a thick layer of saliva, and remember, Casey is always right, especially when she's wrong. Tomato out. Oh, and I am not a snack, Casey. Next is Darren Wright, who says word salad mixed with alphabet soup and some Count Chocula for maths. God, wow, what the actual fuck. Anyway, I'm still working through a nasty cold, so not much to say other than love y'all, and be sure and join the Skeptic Mafia. Peace and love. The D. Darren Wright. And then Philly just says, I'm counting down the hours. Thank you so much there, Philly. I do believe that was all. We don't have anybody that's held for review, so we really appreciate y'all coming on out tonight, hanging out with us. I've been playing Marauders today, and I gotta say, like, I am nearly tapped out on all my gear and money. Like, they start you with $65,000, but they don't tell you that motherfuckers are gonna basically spawn camp or spawn chase you and like invade your ship and then fucking kill you in your own ship. And that's how I lost at least 2 sets of gear on that game, and that really sucks. But anyways, tomorrow I'm gonna be on the Recovering from Religion Foundation stream, which I will be sure to link on everywhere that I'm at on social media, so that you can find it. And we will see you guys then. I'm also going to try to stream some gaming tomorrow. Hopefully Gotham Knights. We finally got that updated. Next week, we've got somebody that wants to teach us how to witness to atheists. And then we've got Frank Turek telling us how we know the Bible authors are the real authors of the Gospels. Something that I'm sure y'all have never heard before. Anyways, Oh, Apologia just went live? Shit. Y'all go check out Apologia Live. Just type in Apologia Live in the search bar, I guess, because I didn't know that he was going live before this. KC's going to link it in the chat. I was going to edit this so that maybe people can be... Let's see if I can add a redirect. I don't know. Y'all might have to refresh this. Yeah, I think they're live right now. Anyways, so I just set it up. If you want to refresh, you'll get sent automatically over there. Or KC's got Paul's stream in the chat. Definitely go check out Paul. He's got some great content over there. And I will see you heathens later. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens.